Oh, just hustling hard here on a Friday night for my crew. Crew, let's roll triangle similarity. We will begin with angle, angle. Anytime we are given two triangles and they have a pair of congruent angles, meaning the same size, we have similar triangles. Let's take a look at our example here. Okay, we have our first triangle in red, our second triangle in blue. Now, our first triangle in red is giving us the angle M with one arch. Do we have one arch represented by an angle over here? Oh, we do. So angle M is congruent to angle S. But what do we know about that X in between? Yes, we have vertical angles, meaning I am going to double arch the inside of my R there. I'm also going to put an R in blue because they share that in double arch as well. So they will never give that to us. So if you're more comfortable writing that in, do so. But we just need to know. All right, so let's take a look. If we were given a multiple choice test, it's asking us, triangle RML is similar to triangle RTS. Here is what I like to do. Nice test-taking strategy when working with triangles. There's so many ways to piece these together. Well, angle R is represented by two arches. I'm going to put a 2 above that. Angle M is represented by 1. And angle L is represented by, well, none. So I'll put a 0. Then I'll work my blue triangle or my second triangle, and I have to follow the exact same pattern as 2, 1, 0. So angle R has 2 arcs. Beautiful. Angle T doesn't have any. And I am going to highlight that right there. Let me make that a little larger for you, if possible. Too large. All we need to know is that it needs to follow the pattern. And it does not, because 210 does not align with 20 and then what would be a 1 there. All right, so let's go to answer choice B, triangle MLR. Well, M is represented by 1 arch. Angle L is represented by 0, and angle R is represented by 2. All right, so triangle RST. Well, triangle R has 2 arches, so right off the bat, we know that answer choice B is no good. Let's try answer choice LMR. It goes from 0 to 1 to 2. TSR goes from 0 to 1 to 2. Oh my goodness, if we were taking a multiple choice test, we would have our answer. We have a stone cold match. But let's try writing another triangle similarity statement. Let's follow the exact same pattern. You try triangle RML is similar to triangle. Take a brief pause if you'd like to try this on your own. All right, we're back. Well, angle R has 2 arches. So I need the one with 2 arches. So I'll put, in blue because they share that, my angle of R. All right, then it goes to M, which has 1 arch. So that means I need to go to 1 arch, which is S. Let me put that 2 and 1 above it. Meaning angle L definitely has our 0. And angle T also has our 0. And that, my crew, is what you call writing your similarity statement. Beautiful job. All right, let's go to side, side, side. We can also prove triangle similarity via side, side, side. They all must be given 3 sides. If this was only given the 22 and the 26, well, guess what? Would not work. But it also has a 16 in there. 91, 77, 56. However, all 3 sides must be proportional. What I like to do is here, I like to mark my sides as like a side of fries. I think I stole that one from Kaminsky. Okay, so 26 is the largest number we have or the largest side we have. So I'm going to represent that with an L. My smallest is a 16, so I'll represent that with an S. And my 22 is right in the middle. We'll call that our medium. And we will do the exact same down below. What's the largest number? Great job, it's 91. What's our smallest? Wonderful, it's 56. And what's our 77? I do believe that's our medium. All right. I am going to start with my large side in triangle 2. And write that as 91. And I need to set that over its corresponding side. Well, the large side from the other triangle, which is 26. They correspond together. All right, then we will work our mediums. Well, if I did blue as my numerator, or triangle 2, my numerator for the other two of these also has to come from the second triangle. So 77. And let's set this over our medium of 22. Then we will work our smalls. 56 over, great job, class, 16. And equals. Sometimes my writing is not the greatest in the moment, never has been. 91, well, fractions tell us to divide by 26 equals 3.5. Beautiful. Didn't mean for that, so I was kind of hoping that would delete. Beautiful, so you can see them all on the calculator. Divided by 22, 3.5 again. And if 56 over 16 equals 3.5, then we have similar triangles. Are all three proportions or ratios here 3.5? They sure are. They are similar triangles. Now, we can name this however we like. All right, so let's just say we name this JKL. So triangle JKL is similar to, well, if I start with my J here in blue, I'm going to mark that with a 1 arch. All right, and I go from J to K. Well, from J to K, is that going towards my medium side, towards L? No. Or my large side with K. All right, so if that happens like that, what I need to do is also go towards my large side, and I need to start with the angle that's in between the large and the medium. What angle is in between my large and medium? Great job, it is F. Now, which one goes towards the large? Should I write it as FD or FE? Oh, wonderful job. We'll do that as FE, and that only leaves us one last angle anyways, which is D. All right, there's your similarity statement. Third one we have is side angle side. Okay, so that means we have to have two sides, with an angle that's in the middle of those two sides, just like it's written. Beautiful. These sides also have to be proportional. We won't test the proportions on this one, just for timely manners here, but I'm also going to do my large fry and my small fry. I also have a large side, and a small side. Beautiful. All right, so if I write this, our triangle similarity statement, you can write it however you like. All right, let's just say the top one goes EDC. That means we have to write it the same exact way that goes on the bottom. We started with our angle of 2 arches. Well, let's start with our angle of P. Now, E to D, is that going on the same side as the large or the small? Great job, the small. So that means our P has to go with the small as well. It's not going to go to R, then it will go to, great job, Q. And then we will just write the R because that's our last anyways. All right, now we will solve. All right, guys, we will set up proportions. Maybe I'll show the shortcut. We will see. All right. Let's take any of these pieces. Which piece would you like to start with? Okay, clean 70 works for me. Okay, now 70 is from L to A. Oh, should I add in my L here? Sure. All right, in blue, L to A is 70. So that means, well, I also need to go from L, let's take a look, to N. You see how we use LA as the first in the third? Well, LN has to be the first in the third as well. And that's represented with a, great job, 154. We will set that equal to, all right, well, if we started with our numerator in blue, we have to do the exact same here. 6x minus 6. And what are we setting that over? Great job, 132. From here, we will cross multiply. If I have two terms, I like to set those in parentheses. And then we will begin our cross multiplication here. We'll start there in orange. And I will do 154 times 6 for our 154 times 6x. What do we get? 924. Beautiful. Don't forget your x. Then we will do 154 times negative 6. Well, if we already know that it equals 924, let's just make it a negative 924. Then we will set it equal to, yes, 70 times 132. Let's put that in our calculator. 70 times 132. 70 times 132. 9240. And then from here, what do we have, guys? We just have a simple two-step equation. We need to get 924x by itself, so great job. Plus 924 plus 9. God, my writing is so sloppy sometimes. 924, especially when I'm trying to go quick for the video. 924x, let's cancel this out, equals 4, 6, 11, and 10, 10,164. Let's divide each side by 924. And if we do 10,164 divided by 924, what do we get? 11. Beautiful job. So x equals 11. Now, there is a shortcut in which you can do this as well. All right. I think we'll talk about that a little later. I don't want to confuse you too much, but you know what? Let's try it. All right. We need to solve for the variable in triangle 2. What piece of information is left with triangle 2? 70. You will divide that by its corresponding side. Well, L to A is 70, so L to A, first and third, L to N. Oh, divided by 154, the same way we set it up here. Beautiful. Hit enter. All right, we will multiply that by 132. Oh, so 70 divided by 54 times 132. What does that equal? 60. All right, so we know our side length is 60. If we were going to set this up as 6x minus 6 equals 60, well, we would do plus 6, divide each by 6. 6 divided by 6 would leave us x, and 66 divided by 6 would leave us 11. I know, a little crazy, but let's go ahead and set up our proportion here. It seemed like that's where the big struggle was today. Why don't we start with t to s here, giving us x plus 2. All right, we will set that over. Well, t to s is our first two letters. Well, what's our first two in blue? WV. And what's in between WV? Great job, it's our 5. We will set that equal to, can we start with a 6 up top? No, because then we'd be multiplying these by themselves when we cross them. So that also means that we need to take the 12 and put it on top. And then we will set that over what remains down below, which is our 6. And from here, we will cross multiply. And again, I will put our two terms in parentheses so we know exactly what we're doing. All right, 6 times x gives us 6x. 6 times 2 gives us 12. Set that equal to 5 times 12, which is 60. From here, we just simply solve. Minus 12, minus 12. Bring down your 6x, cancels out, equals 48. We will simply divide each side by 6, giving us x equals 8. So now you've solved for x. And if you want to solve for the side length, well, we just do x plus 2. So we would just do 8 plus 2, which equals 10. So this side would equal 10. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Try to do your best in the rest of these. Hopefully this assists you a little bit. I try to make it fast, but I try to slow my roll for time. Good luck. Guys, crush this. If you can identify the similar triangles, if you can piece them together, all right, using the strategies I've provided you with labeling the numbers with the arcs, 1, 2, 0. All right, if you have a 90 in there, you could label it 190. And if you're given 3 sides, use the large, medium, small. Okay? And we can always follow the pattern it's given to us, all right, when we are setting up our proportions. Guys, crush, let's go.